Time passes, years are shared, memories accumulate, lives intertwine. And yet, closeness begins to feel fragile. People stay together, but don't always feel together. They remain committed, yet quietly distant. The question isn't why relationships end. It's why so many continue without feeling deeply close. Closeness is often assumed to be a natural outcome of time. The longer people stay together, the more connected they should feel. Shared history is expected to create intimacy. Familiarity is expected to deepen understanding. But in reality, time alone does not guarantee closeness. Two people can share years of life and still feel emotionally distant. They remain involved in each other's lives, yet feel unseen, unheard, or out of sync. This kind of distance is rarely dramatic. It doesn't arrive as conflict or crisis. It develops quietly and often without a clear moment of change. In the previous episode, we explored the difference between attachment and connection. This is where that distinction becomes personal. Long-term relationships are very good at maintaining attachment. Shared responsibilities, routines, and commitments keep people linked. But connection requires something different. Ongoing emotional availability. The willingness to engage, respond, be present even when life is demanding. And when life becomes overwhelming, this availability is often the first thing to fade. People don't withdraw intentionally. They conserve energy. And slowly, closeness begins to weaken. Early in relationships, curiosity is natural. People ask questions. They notice small changes. They listen closely. Attention is high because the other person still feels new. Over time, familiarity replaces curiosity. People begin to assume, I already know how they think. I know what they're going to say. So they ask fewer questions. They listen less actively. Conversations become efficient, but less exploratory. The relationship continues to function, but it stops being discovered. Closeness weakens not because love disappears, but because attention narrows. Closeness depends on sharing inner experience, not just events, but what those events feel like internally. Stress, disappointment, uncertainty, and unmet needs. When these remain unspoken, distance grows. And often, this silence isn't intentional. It comes from fatigue, emotional overload, the effort required to explain, and vulnerability begins to feel costly. So, experiences stay internal, and what is not shared cannot be understood and cannot be met. Humans adapt quickly, even to emotional distance. When closeness fades gradually, people adjust. They stop reaching, stop initiating deeper conversations, and lower expectations. And over time, distance begins to feel normal. This adaptation protects the relationship from conflict, but it also reduces emotional depth. People may feel lonely without knowing exactly why. They may assume something is wrong with them or with their partner. But often, the real issue is simpler. Closeness has not been renewed. Long-term relationships often prioritize stability. Stability provides predictability, structure, and reliability. These are important. But they are not the same as emotional safety. Emotional safety means you can be uncertain, imperfect, unfinished, and without fear of being dismissed or judged. When stability replaces safety, something changes. People stay, but they reveal less. They function well together, but share less of themselves. Closeness requires more than stability. It requires the freedom to be emotionally open. Here's what many people never hear. Closeness doesn't fade because people stop caring. It fades because relationships stop making room for emotional risk. Unresolved conflict doesn't always look like arguments. More often, it looks like avoidance. Certain topics become off-limits. Conversations shift away from tension. Honesty is postponed. Each avoidance creates a small gap, and those gaps accumulate. Over time, people become polite, cooperative, and even kind, but emotionally guarded. Closeness cannot grow where honesty feels unsafe. When distance appears, many people respond by trying harder. They add more time together, more activities, and more gestures. But closeness is not created by effort alone. It doesn't come from doing more. It comes from emotional openness, responsiveness, and allowing oneself to be affected by the other person. Without these, effort maintains the relationship but does not deepen it. When closeness fades, something subtle is lost. People may feel less understood, less supported, and less known. Not dramatically, but consistently. This creates a quiet dissatisfaction, not strong enough to end the relationship, but strong enough to be felt. Over time, people may stop expecting closeness altogether. They begin to believe, this is just how relationships are, but emotional distance is not inevitable. It is a pattern, and patterns can change. Closeness returns through shared vulnerability, not through dramatic moments, but through consistent emotional honesty. For example, naming stress instead of hiding it, sharing uncertainty instead of resolving it alone, and expressing feelings without immediately managing them. Closeness grows when people feel received, not corrected, not fixed, not minimized. Small moments of honesty, repeated over time, restore connection. Modern life places constant strain on relationships. Limited time, cognitive overload, and emotional fatigue all reduce the energy needed for closeness. Without awareness, distance becomes normalized. Understanding this pattern changes the perspective. It shifts from "what's wrong with us" to "what has been crowded out of this relationship?" That shift creates space for change. As closeness becomes harder to sustain, many people adopt a strategy they believe will protect the relationship. They stay strong. They stay composed. They carry emotional weight silently. And this leads to the next pattern: the emotional cost of always being strong. If this reflection resonated, take a moment before moving on. If you value thoughtful, long-form explorations of human behavior, consider liking this video so others can find it. Subscribe for future episodes of Wellness Hubnest, and share below in the comments section. Where do you notice attachment without connection in your everyday life?